Okay, let's see what we have today here. The latest shipment of postcard, idea card types of things. Thank heaven for digital printing these days, where we can just order a small run of items. Looks like I did them in batches of 100, looks like. But when there's a sale, you need to jump on it, although I think they profile you and know when you order and when you don't, and I never order unless there's some kind of decent sale going on, otherwise these postcards are just too outrageous a price. But I guess that's to be expected for short-run prints, even digitally. But places like Vistaprint, they gang print things, so they probably group it with, you know, thousands of other orders and have these just massive sheets. So, all right, let's see here. That's my old, older scene right here with the stone wall. One of the things about this one is kind of you get this aged stone wall kind of contrasted against this kind of green little pasture with all these little gel pen marks in here. Actually, I think it was the paint pen marks, the Sharpie paint pen. But putting those little flowers in there kind of contrasts against something kind of old and rustic like that. So it's kind of fun to do those types of things, you know, where you play around with kind of textural and contrast, but also just kind of and it's about a contrast in age. You know, you get these fresh little spring flowers that are, you know, kind of annual, contrasted against something that's, you know, probably been there for 100 years or something like that, you know. And so you get this what is it? Contextual contrast. Okay, this is one of my I always like this scene right here. I like kind of these intimate little settings too, you know, and in addition to kind of scenes with more grandeur where you're looking over these vast, you know, deep space vistas. I like kind of narrowing down the field of view to something kind of more intimate, you know. And this scene right here is something where this little bass is jumping up to go after that little fly, but it just seems like something, you know, it's like the details of nature, you know, where you go around a corner or something like this, or something that's happening, you know, in a location without us there. It's a little snapshot of nature, I guess I'm trying to say. Because if you're, you know, if you're standing there and the fish know you're there, you know, it's not going to be jumping out of the water like that. So, is that saying if you can see the fish can see you, or something like that? But yeah, little intimate settings like that. A lot of times those are the types of things. I remember grand vistas and everything like that, but you know, sometimes when I'm off on little hikes or something like that, and I come around a corner and there's this little, you know, little pond or little kind of a lit up little area. What I'm thinking about specifically when I look at this is going around doing a little bit of fly fishing in Pagosa Springs in southern Colorado, and it seems like just around every little corner there was this little trickling little area with the sun coming on, you know, through the trees and kind of sparkling in this little, you know, pool of water and in this area. All right, Northern Lights. You know, I love my Northern Lights. As far as my depictions of it, I haven't seen it in person, but one of these days. Plus, I love that kind of emerald green color scheme, and kind of that's one of those that's it gives me an excuse, to put it into a scene. Not that I need an excuse, but as far as, I don't know, it's referencing something that's, real, which I don't always do. Here's that two birds, two eagles kind of spinning around in here. This kind of gives it this kind of this, as far as the visual movement of a scene, you get this kind of circling clouds, and then you position these eagles in such a way that they're kind of, circling like that in a, I don't know, it wouldn't really be a thermal, but could be. But anyways, but this one right here, if you want that one to look a little bit farther back in the distance, all you'd have to do is you have to just knock it back with a little bit of pigment ink like that. Actually, this is probably a lot of pigment ink. And with this one right here, I've oscillated a little bit more with a little bit of pigment ink on the wing, just to kind of make it look a little bit more dimensional, saying that light is hitting it in a different way, and it follows suit. If you do it on one object in a given area, as far as the depiction of lighting, you have to kind of do it on all of your objects to kind of give it that continuity, Lighting continuity, I guess it would be. I think all of these are in videos. That jumping bass one was done a while back, but I think it was in a video. My purple one, like I said, I don't always just do depictions of kind of actual, I don't know, maybe more realistic lighting, but if you like the color purple, or if you like any given color that wouldn't be kind of a direct representation of what might be considered realistic light, do it. Because why not? You get these kind of more dreamy types of color schemes or situations or environments, Could be something more akin to, I don't know, something like animation or something like that, where you're going for, a specific kind of emotional quality. I mean, or you can go for something kind of more stylized, like the Impressionists or something of that sort, or that kind of trying to go for absolute photorealism. Here's another Halloween scene by Darcy Bruno. Really an amazing scenic stamper, but really inventive as far as their usage of the imagery goes. But this was another one of her Halloween pieces. Really highly textured on the outside, but look at the emotional quality of this one. She just kind of drew in the face there. I don't remember okay, the bat was by Hero Arts there, so really fantastic little composition. Okay. I guess it's never too early to start thinking ahead to, I don't know, the different holidays throughout the year. It's April already. I don't know, I'm not thinking about, Christmas or New Year or something like that, but boy, time sure seems to fly when you're having fun. Lighthouse scene by Donna Heber of New York back in 2010. I really liked the finish of this piece. It's with whatever color ink she was using on this. I don't know if it mentions it. DonnaHeber.com mentions the imagery used, but I don't know what color the inks those are, but it has a nice, really surface quality to it. It's kind of soft, and there's this kind of aged look to it, that really goes well with the kind of the theme of the scene. But it has kind of a softer, I don't know, than patina, comes to mind or something like that, kind of. And as far as like a really subtle detail, what you can see here, maybe in the camera is, I don't know if you noticed, but that there is a really subtle yellowish tone in the light right there. So kind of in keeping with the spirit of this overall kind of quality to the color, all right? It's not like a yellow like, like this, okay? That would really stand out too much. So it's yellow there, so you get the benefit of the temperature change within this otherwise cool color scheme, but you don't sacrifice value, which is light, by going with something that's too dark or going to something that's too bright, which would be a really bright yellow. Or, if it was kind of a darker yellow, it wouldn't be as light as this area here. So it was really important just to go with that really pale light in those two windows and right up there in that light, the actual lamp right there. So right there, so it's a really nice subtle detail. And luckily, translated in the print there, but I'm sure it's a little bit more apparent in her original. I think she just, I think I had her send me a scan, or she sent that to me and I scanned it and sent it back. I'm not sure. That was in 2010, and another tropical. So I think I've printed these up in the past orders, but this is done quite some time ago. But 2005, wow. But kind of this for me is about the oscillation of tone, especially down here in the sand area, having that kind of brownish tone, but leaving kind of some of the lighter areas, okay? See, I've followed suit up here with these huts. I've colored the vertical sides of them and kind of at the base of them where it'd be in shadow, but leaving the rooftops lighter to depict an overhead lighting scheme. And then I liked the transitions of hue up here in the sky. And there's the semi-subtle application of the alto cumulus cloud to give it some texture up there, just for kind of a subtle change up there. And then that alto cumulus sky was stamped in, I'm guessing, the salvia blue Marvy, because it's fairly light, but where you overlap it with other colors, that salvia blue takes on a different characteristic because of the transparent colors that you lay over the top of it. So salvia blue looks like a darker blue up there than it does down here, just because you've overlapped it with the pale violet. Alright, so this is an example too of kind of the thematic weight, I guess, or compositional weight. That's what I'm looking for. So you get these big trees coming in right here, right? Alright, you take these people out of it, right? And the visual weight is really weighing down this way, right? Because of the trees, and this little reed cluster down here, several different impressions. But what you do is if you balance off this weight by having something like that, so these characters are kind of walking in this way, and you get these trees going this way, so it forms kind of this pyramidal composition. Now these characters here are a lot smaller than these, but as far as a visual anchor goes, if this was gone, then the subject becomes those bungalows right there, right? Your eyes go straight to them. But if you enter these people in there, because they're people or an animal or a living thing like that, I don't know if it would be the same if I put like a bird there, but we relate to people, so as far as like a visual weight, I think our eyes just kind of go right to them. So it kind of follows this type of, kind of a visual dialogue, light direction, visual path. I'm trying to think of these things. I don't think of these terms very much, but kind of trying to explain it. But these characters, though, just by having a person or something like that, it balances things off, so instead of being heavy that way, they're heading in this way, so if you put people anywhere in a scene, it can really balance things off. It's kind of, I don't know, as far as like weight, I guess, maybe there's a bit of a dramatic imbalance here, but I think as far as context go, it carries the same weight, so it balances things off just fine as far as the compositional kind of arrangement here. Anyway, so those are the types of things that, I'm not analyzing things like that and thinking that out, when I'm doing something like that, but it's just kind of more intuitive, I guess, if you put people somewhere. So it's kind of a fun thing to do, to really weight things really heavily. And I want to do a video on a dramatic balance and dramatic imbalance sometime within a scene. But it's kind of going on a little bit here, as far as the composition. Anyways, so those are some of the latest idea cards heading out to stampers. So anyways, thanks for